Ever wonder what it's like to have so much money you can't even count it? We all dream of winning the lottery or starting the next big tech company. But what happens after you've made it? You might think being rich means all your problems are solved, but that's where you'd be wrong. In fact, having a ton of money can lead to some of the most expensive mistakes imaginable. Today, we're diving deep into the costly blunders the super rich make, mistakes that can wipe out fortunes faster than you can say billionaire. And trust me, these aren't just about buying a yacht that's too big. We're talking about life-altering, empire-crushing errors. So grab your popcorn, because you're about to learn what not to do when you're rolling in dough. First up, and this one's a classic, is trying to time the market. You'd think the wealthiest people would have the best financial advisors, and they do. But even the smartest people can fall victim to their own ego. They see a dip in the stock market and think, this is it. I'm smarter than everyone else. I'll sell now and buy back at the bottom. Well, they see a hot stock skyrocketing and get a massive case of FOMO, fear of missing out, and they pour millions into it right at its peak. The problem is, nobody can predict the market with 100% accuracy. Not even the pros. Trying to do so is less like investing and more like gambling. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men on the planet, famously said his favorite holding period is forever. He invests in solid, reliable companies and lets his money grow over time. The rich who get greedy and try to play day trader with their fortunes often learn a very expensive lesson when the market doesn't do what they expected. Next on our list of pricey pitfalls is ignoring the tax man. Oh, taxes. None of us love them, but for the super rich, they're a whole different ballgame. We're talking about capital gains, inheritance taxes, property taxes on multiple mansions. The list goes on. You'd be shocked at how many wealthy individuals think they can outsmart the system or find some obscure loophole that their accountant magically missed. They might try to hide assets offshore or get a little too creative with their deductions. But tax agencies have entire departments dedicated to auditing high net worth individuals. When they get caught, it's not just a slap on the wrist. We're talking massive fines, back taxes with crippling interest, and in some cases, even jail time. The smart rich people don't try to evade taxes. They manage them. They hire the best tax professionals to legally minimize their tax burden through things like trusts, charitable donations, and smart investment structures. Trying to save a few bucks by being sneaky can cost you millions in the long run. Now, let's talk about something a bit more personal: messy divorces. When an average couple splits up, it's emotionally and financially draining. Now, imagine that, but with billions of dollars on the line. The divorces of the super rich are legendary. Jeff Bezos' split cost him tens of billions of dollars. Bill Gates' divorce involved dividing a fortune that's hard to even comprehend. One of the biggest mistakes the wealthy make is not having a prenuptial agreement or a prenup. It might seem unromantic to talk about splitting assets before you even get married, but when there are businesses, properties, and massive investment portfolios involved, it's just smart planning. A prenup protects both parties and can prevent a divorce from turning into an all-out war that drains millions in legal fees and destroys a lifetime's worth of work. It's an insurance policy for your assets, and not having one is a gamble that has cost some of the world's richest people a huge chunk of their net worth. Another huge mistake is falling for get-rich-quick schemes. You might be thinking, wait, they're already rich? Why would they fall for that? Well, greed and the desire for more don't just disappear when you hit a certain bank balance. In fact, sometimes it gets worse. The super rich are constantly being pitched exclusive, can't miss investment opportunities, exotic real estate developments in countries you've never heard of, revolutionary tech startups with no actual product, or complex financial instruments that promise impossible returns. Bernie Madoff's infamous Ponzi scheme is a perfect example. He didn't just scam average Joes. His victim list was a who's who of wealthy celebrities, business leaders, and seasoned investors. They were all lured in by the promise of steady, high returns and the exclusivity of being in Madoff's circle. The lesson here: if it sounds too good to be true, it almost certainly is, no matter how much money you have. Due diligence is everything. And that brings us to our next point: trusting the wrong people. When you have immense wealth, you become a target. Everyone wants a piece of the pie: long-lost relatives, old friends from high school, and a sea of financial advisors, managers, and consultants. The mistake is placing blind trust in these people without doing your homework. A bad business manager can embezzle funds. A slick but incompetent financial advisor can churn your account for commissions, making risky trades that only benefit them. Many wealthy individuals, especially those who came into money suddenly, like athletes or lottery winners, are often overwhelmed. They delegate everything to a trusted advisor without understanding what's actually happening with their money. Building a team of vetted, reputable professionals, a lawyer, an accountant, a financial planner who can check and balance each other is absolutely crucial. It's about creating a system of accountability, not just handing over the keys to your financial kingdom. Now for a really big one: failing to plan for the next generation. It is a well-known statistic that around 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation and 90% lose it by the third. That's staggering. This is often called the shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations phenomenon. The first generation builds the fortune, the second generation enjoys it, and the third generation loses it all. Why? A major reason is a complete lack of succession planning and financial education. The founder of the fortune might be a financial genius, but they fail to teach their children about money management, work ethic, or the responsibility that comes with wealth. They just hand over a massive inheritance with no strings attached and no guidance. The results are predictable: lavish spending, poor investments, and family disputes. The ultra-rich who successfully pass on wealth for generations, like the Rockefellers, do it through rigorous planning. They use trusts, create family foundations, and most importantly, they invest heavily in educating their heirs about financial literacy and stewardship from a very young age. Let's also touch on lifestyle inflation. This is one that can creep up on anyone, but for the super rich, it happens on a scale that is hard to fathom. You start with a nice house, then you need a bigger house, a vacation home, maybe a private jet to get between them. Then you need a staff to manage the homes and the jet. You start buying million-dollar cars, designer clothes, and $10,000 bottles of wine. Each new luxury becomes a new necessity. The problem is, your expenses can start to grow faster than your income, even when your income is millions per year. Suddenly, you're house rich and cash poor. You have all these assets, but you're spending every dollar that comes in just to maintain your lifestyle. This can lead to taking on debt or selling off valuable assets at the wrong time just to cover your monthly burn rate. It's a golden cage, and it's a mistake that has drained many fortunes, one luxury purchase at a time. Finally, and this might be the most important one of all, is losing your purpose. Many people dream of the day they'll have enough money to never work again. But for many who achieve this, it becomes a curse. They quit their job, sell their company, and then what? They find themselves with endless days and nothing to fill them with. Work, for all its stresses, provides structure, a sense of identity, and a feeling of accomplishment. Without it, some wealthy individuals fall into a spiral of boredom, depression, and destructive behavior. They lose the very drive and passion that made them successful in the first place. The smartest wealthy people understand that money is a tool, not the end goal. They stay engaged, whether it's by starting new ventures, dedicating themselves to philanthropy, or mentoring the next generation. They find a new why that is bigger than just making more money. They realize that true wealth isn't just about your bank account. It's about having a rich and meaningful life. So, from trying to outsmart the stock market to forgetting to teach your kids about money, the paths to financial ruin are many, even for those at the top. The mistakes of the super rich are a powerful reminder for all of us. Whether you have $10 or 10 billion, the principles of smart financial management are universal. Live within your means, invest for the long term, trust but verify, and never forget that money is a means to an end, not the end itself. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of wealth. See you in the next one.